Apple is known as one of the valuable tech companies in history, making some of the revolutionary products, brilliant tactics to promote those products to you and selling more than 1.5 billion units of those products. But on the early times of Apple, it faced a lot of dark moments in its history, including major product failures, legal battles, not accepting their fault to avoid user backlashes, and many more controversies. So sit back and let's jump right in. Story starts with 2014 when Apple launched iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Just like any other Apple device, people were extremely excited. However, users didn't know that these phones had a major issue. Those were bending. You see, the next to volume button area was the weak point of it, so normal pressure can also bend it. At the beginning this wasn't discovered, but after a few days of releasing, one of the tech reviewer, Unbox Therapy, released a video. He showed us that not even major pressures can bend iPhone 6. But he didn't know that the video would be mega viral, getting more than 45 million views in just 3 days. At the first acknowledging the video, Apple just said that they only have just 9 complaints of it, so it's just a rare case. But the truth was this problem wasn't small. If it was, then Apple didn't have to do all of this. Apple said to media that just move on, because Apple have connections with almost every biggest tech reporter, so it's not a big deal for Apple. Apple even invited some news outlets to the testing lab to see how proper the testing were, but the flaw was they were giving force to different point. Phone was bending to the area of the volume button, but they were giving force on the center. After that, all news media said the video was fake, and some of the tweets like, "The jerk bending his iPhone till it breaks," video now approaching 34 million views, easily paying for his broken iPhone 6 Plus. Another news articles defending Apple by saying that, "Don't put your iPhone 6 Plus into the front pocket of your trousers or jeans." Just imagine how brilliant the article writer was. All this drama went for a while, but you can't hide the truth. Story turns around at 2018, when Apple was facing court cases around it. Then from the internal documents of it, we know that Apple knew about iPhone 6 can bend more than the previous models, and they knew from their lab testings. Knowing all about that, they still didn't accept their fault and continued their publicity like they didn't have any engineering problems. After all that, people were very mad about it, and saying like, all you can do is avoid activity that could cause the phone to flex. Don't drop it. Definitely don't put it in any case that require you to apply force to the phone to get it into out of the case. Don't put it in your back pocket. Don't put it in your front pocket if it's a tight pocket. Actually, don't put it in any pocket. After all that, Apple secretly changed their manufacturing process and kind of fixed the problem. And that's how Apple covered up their lies. Story starts with June 2010 when the iPhone 4 was released, and lots of people bought it. But immediately they noticed about signal issues and call drops when holding the phone in their left hand. Actually, the left hand was blocking the antenna. So lots of people reported it to Apple, but Steve Jobs answered people to avoid sensitive areas on the phone. Apple suggested that users were holding the phone incorrectly, but after that they told it was just a software issue, so they will fix that. But problem wasn't solved, so people stopped recommending iPhone 4. After a month, the real issue was revealed. During the design of the iPhone 4, Apple's senior antenna experts warned Steve Jobs that the design could cause signal drops. But Apple made a mistake by not properly understanding how antenna works. Just for a good design, Apple compromised with it, leading to these issues. At that time, someone discovered there was a solution by just putting a cover on it. Following the user backlash, on July 16th, Steve Jobs admitted the mistake and said that every users will get a free phone case. If you already have one, then you can get refund of it, and the story was dubbed Antenna Gate. All of these were still okay, but the next one is the darkest of them all. You see, Apple is a very large company, so the supply chain is also big with lots of workers. But the problem is with the working conditions of them. You see, when a company need more workers, then they hire temporary workers. So China passed a law for workers saying that a company can't have more than 10% temporary workers. For clearing the problem, China gave these companies a deadline within 2016. For taking action for it, Apple checked their 362 supply factories, and they found that around 80 of these factories have more than 50% temporary workers. And the real problem was that the behavior with these workers was terrible. Like not paying the full salary, giving late salary, not giving bonuses and additional benefits, so their life was like a living hell. Just like all companies, Apple's deadline was reaching, but the working conditions were barely improving. Some of the former employees of Apple said that Apple wasn't taking any actions against it for a very long time, because if they did it, they would have higher cost, unbalanced workflow, and delaying product launches. For the pressure of law, Apple just said to them that don't lower the temporary workers amount if any local authorities didn't reach you. So let's see the perspective of Apple. If Apple have to choose good working conditions or profits, just like other companies, they will choose the profits. And that is the real problem with the humans. So if you like this kind of business related content, then subscribe now, because lots of videos are coming right away.